Hello, this is Keith, welcoming you to the 1982nd edition of the Enfield Talking newspaper, Dateline the 4th of December 2014. The readers this week are Janet, Sally and Keith, with Robin on the controls. The items that we will be reading come from our local newspapers, the Enfield Gazette and Advertiser and the Enfield Independent, under their copyright. Our title music is Country Rock Polka, composed by Pat Prilly, Fernand Bouillon and Harry Breur. It is performed by Jean-Jacques Perry and is used with his kind permission. Local stories include Man Dies in Brawl and Schools Crisis. First of all, our usual special news items for the week. The Home Library Service is part of Enfield Libraries and provides a delivery service to people living in the borough who are unable to visit a branch library due to age, mobility, disability or their caring responsibilities. We visit each of our members every 4 weeks. The service is free and we will tailor it to your taste. For visually impaired people, we can provide books in large print or recorded books on CD or cassette. We can also bring music on CD or films on DVD for people with some vision. Members are free to reserve particular items. If you'd like to join the Home Library Service or know someone who would, please call 01992 716 010 and we will arrange for the Community Access Librarian to visit you. That number again, 01992 716 010. The Enfield Macular Disease Support Group meets on the second Wednesday of every month from 10 a.m. to 12 noon at the Trinity Church Hall, Gentleman's Row, Enfield, EN2 6AN. The meetings are open to anyone affected by central vision loss, and carers are welcome as well. For further details, please contact Alan Newson on 020 888 5659. That's Alan Newson on 020 886 5659. If you are experiencing any problems receiving your Enfield Talking newspaper, please phone Diane de Jersey on 020 8805 6578. She is your listener's representative and she will be pleased to help you. That's Diane de Jersey on 020 8805 6578. Now Janet will read the first item of local news.
A fatally wounded man screamed for his life during a brawl in Edmonton. The man, who was believed to be in his 20s, died in hospital following the fight in Halesbury Road, Edmonton. Peter Ray of Halesbury Road told the Independent he could hear the screams from his home. He said, "I heard some loud noises outside. It sounded like foxes fighting, which we often get down this road. However, this was much louder. I looked out of my window to see between 15 and 20 people in a mass brawl down the road. The fight lasted around half an hour, and you could tell when something had happened because it went quieter. Then I could hear the screams of the boy. He was shouting, 'Help me, help me, help me,' as the core group of people in the incident stayed with him, and some others disappeared down other roads. 4 teenagers have been arrested in connection with the incident and have been remanded in custody. Another neighbour, who asked not to be named, believed the incident had stemmed from a party. She said, "We couldn't see much, but we could hear a lot happening down the road at the party. The trouble seemed to come from there, but I could not be sure. We're all concerned down here. This happens in Edmonton far too often, and we are not surprised someone has died again. Things need to improve urgently." Mr. Ray added, "I don't think this is a bad area, but there have been many incidents over the years. I would say this is the 3rd major incident in the past 2 years down this road." Edmonton MP Andy Love described the incident as tragic. He said, "We must redouble our efforts to try to prevent incidents like this from happening. I'm in close contact with our local police, and I would appeal to anyone with any information to go forward." The Deputy Mayor of London called the death a catastrophe. Stephen Greenhall, who was in Enfield to discuss the Metropolitan Police crime plans in the borough, said targeting knife crime in Edmonton had to be a priority. He said any loss of life is a catastrophe, and it is vitally important that we target violence in Edmonton. It is pivotal for us to be able to have a specific plan for Edmonton, and indeed Enfield, because knife crime is up, and I have discovered that there is no one-size-fits-all policy for London, and each borough needs its own plan. The identity of the man is known, but a formal identification is yet to take place. Police are eager to speak to anyone who knows anything about the incident.
A free school empire in the borough is currently without a leader after the governing body suspended the executive head teacher and a director of the trust that runs 5 schools, along with one of those schools' head teachers. The suspended trio are executive head Patricia Souter, her husband Phil Souter, who is a director of Cuckoo Hall Academy's Trust, and Sharon Ahmet, head of Cuckoo Hall Primary Academy in Cuckoo Hall Lane, Edmonton. In a letter given to parents, chairwoman of the trust, Andrea Efthymiou, said that the suspensions follow allegations of gross misconduct that have been made against them, which need to be investigated. She added, "I would like to reassure you that these allegations are in no way related to the safety or well-being of pupils." Prime Minister David Cameron, former Education Secretary Michael Gove, and Mayor of London Boris Johnson have all visited schools in the trust, which also runs Woodpecker Hall Primary Academy in Nightingale Road, Edmonton, Kingfisher Primary Academy in the Ride, Ponders End, and Heron Hall Academy in Nightingale Road, Edmonton, and took over Enfield Heights Academy in Pitfield Way, Enfield Highway, in September. Mr. Gove visited Woodpecker Hall in January 2013 when Mrs. Ahmet was then acting head teacher, and used the visit to hail Mrs. Souter, who, he said, ran schools better than the local authority. He also lavished praise on the executive head and added that Mrs. Souter possessed a luminous intelligence. Responding to speculation over the presence of police cars at the Cuckoo Hall Lane site, a spokesperson for the trust said the police were present for no other reason than to witness the serving of the suspension letters, which for procedural reasons had to be conducted in a formal manner. Stuart McNamara, Secretary of the NUT in Enfield, told the Advertiser, "I am very pleased that the Chair of Governors has shown such brave leadership in addressing these serious concerns and used their legal powers to suspend those accused pending an investigation."
Two Tottenham Hotspur players have helped to open a new learning disabilities hub and sports centre. Spurs midfielders Benjamin Stambouli and Nabil Bentaleb officially opened the centre at Barnet and Southgate College in High Street, Southgate, where they showed off their indoor hockey skills in a match against students. The Centre of Excellence provides specialist facilities such as a hydrotherapy pool, sensory room, physiotherapy and a rebound room, with specialist sports equipment, a sports hall, drama room, recreational garden and arts and craft rooms to more than 200 students each year. It's funded by the college and the Tottenham Hotspur Foundation. The Foundation's Chief Executive, Grant Cornwell, hopes the centre can help students flourish. He said, "As an inclusive organisation, we know only too well how people with learning disabilities can flourish with the right expertise, help and support behind them. For many young people, having access to specialist facilities like this is fundamental to growing as an individual. We're very proud to be officially opening the new Centre of Excellence and to be providing life-changing opportunities for disabled people, supporting them on an innovative education, training and employment pathway alongside the development of inclusive disability sports." David Byrne, principal of Barnet and Southgate College, said, we will be working in partnership with Tottenham Hotspur Foundation and the Premier League Charitable Fund to provide an inspirational Centre of Excellence programme that will empower students with learning disabilities, enabling them to reach their full potential and to increase their economic well-being within a practical and vocational learning environment. It's an exciting partnership for the college, and we are proud of the fact that the new Centre of Excellence is destined to become the key lead facility for sport and physical activity across North London.
A mother of a newborn miracle baby has heaped praise on the consultant who made it all possible. Laura Harris, 28, suffers from a condition which prepares her body for birth too soon. A pregnancy last year ended in tragedy when she lost the baby in April 2013 at just 23 weeks. At the time, the doctors did not realise that Laura from Edmonton could be suffering from a rare condition. She told the Advertiser of her heartbreak at knowing that something wasn't quite right, but having to work to persuade doctors to examine her, all the while suffering from severe sickness. However, when she fell pregnant again in March this year, her experience could not have been more different. Her consultant, Dr. Ansan Habib, suspected there could also be problems this time around and insisted that Laura attend the maternity clinic at North Middlesex Hospital in Stirling Way, Edmonton, for weekly scans right up to 24 weeks, and then every 2 weeks after that. At 12 weeks, Dr. Habib carried out a process to ensure that Laura's cervix did not dilate too soon. However, at 16 weeks scan, it was discovered that the stitch had been inserted had become infected. Dr. Habib called Professor Stanley Okolo, who put in a more permanent stitch. Laura was bedbound throughout this time with severe pregnancy sickness, just like the Princess of Wales. No, Princess Duchess of Kent. Get it right in a minute. Cambridge. Sorry, listeners. The consultant took the unusual step of giving Laura her direct email address. Laura said, "I emailed her a few times asking various questions, sometimes with the smallest things like heartburn," said Laura, "and she would always reply within 48 hours, even if it wasn't an emergency. She was with me every step of the way." With the pregnancy progressing, the professor and the consultant discussed with Laura what would happen at the birth and decided to schedule a caesarean section. Laura said she would never rush you. She would always say, "Any questions?" making sure you knew what was going on and what the options were. To cap it all, Dr. Habib was on her annual leave, the day scheduled for the C-section. She came back into the country the day before and was in the operating theatre with me at 8 a.m. She did everything herself, and it was all finished by 10 a.m. Then she went back on annual leave. I honestly believe that the care I received is above and beyond the standard you would get in a private hospital. When I became very dehydrated from sickness, I just had to go to North Med and ask for her. Mum and baby Hayden are doing very well.
What are they doing up there? There is always something going on, but it never seems to finish. Are words often said to Lorraine Cox, manager of Forty Hall. But the estate has undergone a multi-million-pound refurbishment which could make it the jewel in the crown of Enfield. After gaining a £1.8 million for the park from Heritage Lottery Fund in December 2011, Ms. Cox set about restoring the Grade 1 listed Forty Hall to its original glory. However, the park was unsuccessful in obtaining a grant for the rest of the park for almost a year. Ms. Cox said, "It has been 2 major projects separated in 2 big chunks, but everything is coming together. With the lake reworked, car park redeveloped and a host of other work to the park, Ms. Cox is now hoping to attract more people to one of the finest places in the capital." The park's front entrance has been expanded and Miss Cox hopes to beat last year's visitors' total of 50,000. She said, "It is not often that you get the chance to work on a project that will influence generations to come. The hall is hundreds of years old and has a fantastic history, so to be able to shape its future has been amazing. There are several local residents who are gathering together to get a petition to send to TfL to get the bus route brought closer to the hall so people can get here more easily and more often. People need to see what an amazing place this is and not forget one of the finest places in London."
A customer services manager at a branch of Mothercare cleared his personal debts by giving himself more than £20,000 in fake refunds. And after Sumir Shah, 38, was arrested and bailed by the police, he went on the run and accessed the shop's computer and arranged for 2 Bugaboo pushchairs to be sent to his home. Prosecutor Edward Hollingsworth told St Albans Crown Court that between January and September 2012, Shah made 34 refund transactions to himself, totalling £20,156.27. Shah was arrested in September 2012 by the police and admitted to the offences. He was bailed but did not return to the police station. It was only in October this year that Shah of Westbury Road, Bounds Green, was arrested in Liverpool. Shah, who appeared via a video link from Bedford Jail, pleaded guilty to fraud. He asked for a fraud involving the 2 pushchairs, each valued at £529, to be taken into consideration. The court was told that Shah had one conviction for joyriding his father's car in 1997, when he was convicted of aggravated vehicle taking, having no insurance and no driving licence. Defending, Ali Juji said Shah, who was earning £24,000 as a manager at the store in Watford, had accumulated debts before working for Mothercare. He said, "He has no relevant convictions and has expressed his remorse. He is deeply embarrassed by his conduct. It was a catastrophic mistake." Mr. Juji said Shah wanted to repay the money to Mothercare and asked for a suspended sentence to be passed. Judge Martin Griffith agreed and passed a 12-month jail sentence suspended for 2 years, with 2 years supervision and 250 hours unpaid work. The judge told Shah, "What you did was a gross breach of trust. You could have no complaint if you went back to prison today. If you come back before me, I will start the sentence at 12 months, and it will go up from there. Do you understand?" Shah replied, "I do understand, Your Honour."
Now I've got a lovely picture of a lady who's celebrating her 100th birthday, and she's holding a card from the Queen. And the lady's name is Ethel Billington. A centenarian has revealed the secret of a long and happy life, healthy living. Ethel celebrated her 100th birthday and was surrounded by 25 of her closest friends and family at a party at the Albany Park Nursing Home in St Stephen's Road, Enfield Lock recently. "She's a very lucky girl," her niece Jacqueline Head told the Advertiser after revealing that Ethel had had 2 separate parties. Ethel was born and bred in Edmonton and spent her early years near Pins Park. She said, "I was very pleased to receive the telegram from the Queen, but it was not the best part of the celebrations. That was seeing all her friends and family gather around." Rebecca Elmo, activities coordinator of the care home, organised the celebratory day and told the Advertiser that Ethel was the life and soul of the party. "She loves playing the piano," her niece explained. Rebecca added, "She has a beautiful singing voice and loves performing for everybody." As well as healthy living, Ethel revealed that being happy with friends and families was key to staying young. "I think it's important to be happy, however you manage it," she said. The 2 parties were a joint organisation effort between Rebecca and the care home's manager, Jane Clark. If you would like any of your family to be mentioned in the paper, the Advertiser would love to hear them. Family announcement dedicated to what is going on in your family. You can place a notice or an announcement in tribute to someone or in celebration of someone who has reached a milestone in their life. The Advertiser would also be pleased to receive any wedding photographs or news of new arrivals to the family, which the Advertiser will consider for publication on this page. The Advertiser would also like to hear from any couples celebrating a golden or diamond wedding anniversary. To have your news considered for this page, call the news desk on 020-8364-4040. Any stories or photographs should be sent to the news editor, the Advertiser, 187 Baker Street, Enfield. Please include a daytime telephone number.
A Scout group visited a care home to serenade residents and spread some festive joy. Members of the 5th Enfield Scout group, based at St Mark's in Main Avenue in Bush Hill Park, dropped into Azalea Court, Enfield, to entertain and wish a happy birthday to one resident. Cub Scouts Rebecca and Roberta played the cello and viola, helped by fellow Cubs Emily and Rianne, while other Beavers and Cubs played board games with the residents. 7-year-old Beaver Scout Joseph said, "It was good playing snakes and ladders with the ladies who live at Azalea Court. Sometimes they needed help with the games, but I liked helping them. I think more boys and girls should visit." Annie Longeran, who was celebrating her 86th birthday on the day of the Scouts' visit. Scout leader Martin Curtai, who organised the visit with staff at the care home, said the Beavers and Cubs enjoyed meeting the residents and it was extra special to be able to wish Annie a happy birthday on her special day. The young people who came were working towards their Entertainer, Disability Awareness and Community Awards. Community engagement is a central part of Scouting.
A derelict depot is one step closer to becoming a housing site. A new extension to Berry Lodge Park in Berry Street West, Bush Hill, with a total of 130 homes, will be built on the site in an attempt to address the housing crisis after Labour members approved the plans at a meeting of Enfield Borough Council recently. Councillor Ahmet Okana, Cabinet Member for Housing and Estate Regeneration, said, "We understand the concerns of residents and they will be taken into account. However, these proposals provide a great opportunity to extend the park and deliver affordable housing for residents at a time when housing in Enfield is at a premium." Councillor Andrew Stafford, Cabinet Member for Finance and Property, said, "We are committed to bringing unused sites into use for the benefit of the wider community, and we have had to make every penny count in these tough economic times and find innovative and creative solutions to the problems we face. This site, as well as providing much-needed housing, will extend and improve the park and add many additional features to the site." However, Conservative Opposition Councillor Edward Smith and his party abstaining during the vote, saying this scheme is a very large, risky, profit-driven development that doesn't address the housing needs of the borough, which in Bush Hill Park are primarily to provide affordable housing to buy through shared ownership or discounted sales and social rent. A total of 78 of the planned 130 homes are for market rent, and the reason for this is that the scheme is designed first and foremost to generate income for the council. We also have major concerns about the environmental impact on the adjacent area and park of such a high density development. If the council had not been so horrendously slow in developing Meridian Water and the Small Sites programme, it would have had scope to create a more suitable development for Bush Hill Park. Now you can have your say on these proposals at www.enfieldindependent.co.uk.
When an Edmonton primary school told the Enfield Independent that pupils were helping their peers eat their greens, we had to find out more. But that was not all that students at Brettenham Primary School were doing for each other. and the school has been recognised for its work. The school recently became the first in the borough to be awarded the UNICEF UK Awards for its recognition of pupils' rights. Teacher Joe Brown said, "It took a while to explain to the children what their rights were, but they've all taken it in their stride and the school has benefited massively." Enshrining the rights of children at the school has seen a dramatic fall in the number of incidents between pupils, and grades have improved. Mrs. Brown added, "They all have so much more respect for each other, and it is refreshing to see the children helping different pupils from all age groups. Each class has 2 ambassadors, and the UNICEF assessment of the school said children felt overwhelmingly that they were given a voice in decision-making." Year 6 pupil and ambassador Aku Erim spoke of her pride at achieving the award. She said, "We show respect to everyone, and I am very proud to be an ambassador and help other children." Year 5 pupil Lena Kahani added, "It feels like we're teachers sometimes. I have learnt how important all our rights are." Deputy Head Teacher Stuart Humphreys hopes the school can become a beacon for other schools. He said, "We have had a number of other schools and many members of the public compliment our children on how respectful they are." Mr. Humphreys was also hopeful that pupils can carry what they have learned in their secondary school days and pass on the message.
We have now reached the end of side 1 of this tape. Please stop your machine now, take out the cassette, turn it over and start side 2.